One of the most important choices, decisions you will ever make in your life is choosing a spouse. I'm here in the bathroom. I just finished putting on my moisturizer. I'm in Seoul. I had a most fantastic day with my husband walking the city, and it had me really focus and thinking about the importance of having a spouse that you think in, that you work together with, that you're collective. My husband and I are the, complete opposites. I am Spanish, black with a little bit of a hot temper. My husband is super calm. We're both very smart. Oh my God, look at my skin. When I travel, I always put the Nivea moisturizer because it's tired and now it's doing so much better. Anyhow, back to the importance of having a good partner. It is one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. And it impacts every facet of your life. And you don't really realize that until something very difficult happens in your life and you recognize the importance of having a, of choosing correctly. You know, there are so many times in your life where you have ebbs and flows, you have valleys and you have peaks. Most of the time is neutral, but I can tell you there are many times in my life in which I have had a valley, and having a partner that understands, that supports, that that is loving, is can be the calm in the middle of your storm, is there to support you and guide you as you work through your issues, is so incredibly life altering. If you haven't had that, one of the things that are so important when it comes to self mastery is recognizing who you are, where you come from, having those hard conversations. One thing that I learned in my 30s and my 40s is the importance of asking for your wants, your needs, your desires, because it really impacts how effective you are, how you communicate effectively, how you show up for yourself, let alone in your relationships. It's also incredibly damaging if you are not authentically yourself and can pull off all of your mask. Because in life we have three masks. We have a mask that we show the world. It's this version of us that we project out there. Then the second mask that you have is the one that you show only to your close friends and your family. And then the third mask is the one that you only show for yourself. Nobody else gets to see that part of you. I believe there's one before that, the one that you have with your spouse, because your spouse is going to be with you through the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Your spouse is going to be with you in the decisions that you make when it comes to having children, when it comes to um, saving for your long term retirement. The person that's going to be with you, that's going to work together in tandem with you when it comes to building and developing your life, your children, where you live, your finances, how you are with your family, how you are with their family, what you do with one another, the relationship you have, just the two of you, that's always cultivated and always nourished, separate and apart than the one that you have with your children, because your children are going to leave, girl. And then what are you going to do with that person that's there, that's been with you the whole time? And you have to get to know them again. It's better just to be consistent and choose well, because having great money is fantastic. Money does not keep you warm in bed at night. Having someone you can talk to honestly and have fun with and share openly is such an important part of life. And we were talking about this today as we're walking through the city because, this is my third marriage. The first time I married much too young. I didn't know who I was in any way whatsoever, and, got divorced. My second time, I had a wonderful husband. We were together for over 10 years, prominent physician, and he passed away from cancer. And I learned so much about myself, and I learned so much about the importance of being in a strategic, loving, shared value, effective communication relationship. And now I'm here with my third husband, and we've been together for 15 years. And um, we have three children, four children between the two of us. I have a chosen daughter, Amber, as you guys know. I have my son who's severely autistic, and then I have two stepkids, my husband's children, and they are amazing. And it hasn't always been amazing. We've had lots of bumps on the road, but the two of us, my husband and I, have been a team, and we have set the tone on how everything works in our family. So collectively, regardless of what's going on, it's always the two of us. And then we deal with a challenge or a situation. It's always the two of us, and we celebrate the beautiful aspects of life. And as we were walking through Seoul today, I was laughing because I am such a nervous Nelly myself. My husband is super calm. He's very easy, like nothing rattles him. He is up for an adventure in a second. And he's like, yeah, let's go here. Boom, goes. I am a little bit of a nervous Nelly. And I'm like, wait, what? What do you want to do? We had a plan. We're going to change. How does this work? Oof. And then I'm like, okay, that'll be fun. And then go. It takes me a moment, and we're always up for the adventure. Even when it comes to eating, just walking down the street and going, ooh, that's a great place. I have seen many a couple that don't have that same kind of relationship and that kind of ease with one another. And I'm always curious about that because, in my experience, when I counseled people when I worked before I retired, a lot of people are so surprised to recognize and understand that the part before the marriage, that's when you do the what kind of debt do you have? What values do we share? What are your like? What's your finance planning like? What is our strategies? What has been the most difficult item or thing that you've experienced during your relationships in the past? And have you learned how to, whatever it is, express yourself, or whatever you didn't know about yourself in your previous relationships that didn't work? Were you able to work on yourself moving forward so you don't bring that into our own relationships? You know, are you planning on, do we want children? What's our religious preference going to be? What are you good at planning 2, 3, 5, 10 years out? Are you an excellent communicator? Because these are the things that we want that are so important in relationships. And if you're not good at that, how can you ask somebody else to do the same? Self mastery is so important because everything that you want in a relationship, you ought to be able to provide it yourself. And these are things that I've learned over 3 marriages, right? And experiencing colleagues and friends and family living their life. And it's something that I found so funny today because when we're walking down the street, it's, do you want to go in there and do that? And we just did it. And my husband loves an adventure. I like to be a little bit more like calm and easy. Every time we go on vacation, perfect example. Every time we go on vacation, I am the one that pulls out the keynotes and has an extensive list of everything to do at whatever location we're going to go. I'm talking the hello, the thank you, the goodbye, and whatever the language is. What do we need? Cash. Always have the cash in whatever country we're going to be in. Always have the restaurants, the activities, the tourist things to do, plus or minus an extra 10 in case something happens. Like I plan everything to a T. Why? Because second time I went on vacation, we didn't have any plans. And I was so incredibly stressed and anxious, like beside myself, that we did not have a good vacation because I was a lunatic. And this is what I mean about the importance of having a good partner. Because after communicating, the two of us, we were able to recognize that, hey, I need to plan. Even if we don't do anything, I need to plan. I would get lost in a paper bag. My husband's in charge of logistics, and this is how we share our skills together. So when we're on vacation, this time I had a list of everything to do. We're only here for a couple of days. And my husband said, hey, this time, why don't we try something new? Instead of going through the itinerary of everything that you have planned for us, why don't we just go out there and just whatever happens, happens? We're going to walk. We're going to see stuff. We're going to nosh. We're going to have a little coffee. We're going to walk some more. We're going to see some more stuff. And whatever happens, happens. I got to tell you guys, we had such a great time because there was no pressure. I always have the pressure that we have to fulfill everything. It has to look absolutely magical. It has to be amazing, which is an unbelievable amount of pressure to put yourself under. And I don't know why I do it. But this time we did not do that. And we had such a great time. And we talked about the kids. We talked about his employment. We talked about retirement coming up in the next 3 to 4 years. We were so enthusiastic and so happy that the two of us share the same values when it comes to everything in our life. So it makes it easy to collaborate, to plan, to work together collectively. We compared, which you're not supposed to really do, but we compared what we learned from our previous marriage and how what we learned, the wisdom that was gained from whatever didn't work there, and how we've been able to improve that in our relationship in every facet of it. And it does come with first self mastery, and then it comes with relationship wisdom. Being here in Seoul is just a dream, to tell you honestly. And it's part of that conscious living, right? Because as we walk in the street, we're eating healthy. You know, I walked me some 18,000 steps today. Girl, it was a moment. And just, I found myself crying when we were at I can't remember the name of it. I found myself sitting on the ground just crying because I was so elated to experience this, to have the blessing and the privilege of being able to go on vacation, let alone to another country. And I was giving my husband praises at the fact that, you know, it's a work trip for him. He flew the plane and he brought me, and we're here together and just enjoying it. And it was not lost on me. One, the privilege; two, the amazing experience of being here, and to say it to my husband, to express that to him, because that's also part of being in a really sound and gracious relationship, is being able to express yourself thoroughly, the good, the bad, or the ugly. And today it happened to be that we were on, once I got past my, we're not going to go on the plan, we're not going to follow the itinerary, we're just going to go off the cuff. Okay. Once we got past that, it was such a marvelous afternoon, a whole day. And it was something that I really noticed about myself, because it's something that has changed in me over the, I'm 56 now, so over maybe the last 30 years of my life, how I've seen myself grow and evolve as a person, to be able to take some kind of conflict or take some type of challenge and look at it from a more logical way, a little more optimistic, and recognize there's always an answer. These kind of things happen as you grow. And that's part of self mastery. When we're able to master ourselves and be so much more cohesive and authentic with ourselves, it allows you and me to show up so beautifully in our relationships with our spouse. Because at the end of the day, we chose each other however many years ago. You two, right? And you got married, had the wedding, had the kids, had the house, had the dogs, had the cars, employed throughout the whole thing. The kids leave, and then it's just the two of you. And then you get to know each other again. And then menopause hits. And then it's a whole other moment. And then you continue to get to know each other. And here we are, damn near close to our 60s, and just really enjoying life. And I got to tell you, the other day, we got in a little bit of a tiff, a little bit. And at the end of it, we both looked at each other and went, wow, that one was really good, right? Like we got a little with each other and then solved it very quickly. And the comparison of what it was before when we started, it was not like that. But it's so funny to just witness the evolution. And that's why it's so important to choose your spouse well. We can talk more about that as we move forward in the next couple of weeks, about the importance of choosing well and what it means to choose well, and what are the things that you can look at for yourself and the importance of choosing well. But that's it for the night. I'm a little jet lag and I feel like it's a little long in the tooth today, but I hope you get my gist. Ask any questions, put them in the comments. Let me know if you agree or you disagree or if you experience the same thing in your relationship. Because, girl, choosing a spouse is truly one of the most impactful things to your life as a woman. Pussy puss.